at it again, a complete mess of the cockpit.
This time we have a water pump issue. I thought maybe there was just air in the lines because it was kind of turning on for a little while then turning off. Anyway, it's been doing weird things that I wouldn't expect a water pump to do, and we don't have any leaks in the system, so there should be no reason why the water pump is turning on. And now finally, now the water pump will turn on with the faucet open, and there doesn't seem to be a blockage before the water pump. We have the intake here and the outtake over here. First I'm going to cut the wires and see if we have power here. Have the intake and outtake disconnected. Just putting a little wood plug with the hose clamp here to stop the water from flowing because I don't have a valve in front of this between this and the tank. So we got good flow to here. I disconnected it, took all this apart. There's a little switch in here, and it seems like when you blow in here, it pushes on the switch. And I think there's a little screw here at the end that's meant to adjust that. But anyway, I got it working. I think just cleaning it out, looking at the inside, me playing with the end of the switch has made it work. So I'm thinking maybe the switch was starting to go, or the little adjustment here isn't working as well because maybe we have a little less pressure coming from our tank because we have noticed some crap coming down the pipe. It's working now, I just gotta hook it back up. Hopefully it lasts.
Yay, we're gonna have running water.
Good news, seems like the pump is fine. I took apart the pump just to kind of figure out how it worked. I'm gonna take a quick look inside, see if I can find any blockage. I would have thought I would have saw the blockage in there, but that looks like little pistons or something.
You ready?
Yeah.
On, off. Is this the moment of truth?
Yeah, we'll find out. See if it works. Turn on the breaker.
Yee!
And you'll have to turn on the top to take the air out if it starts.
Okay, let's do this. Water pressure.
Working normal?
Yeah, now it's working normal. Before it was stop and go. Off.
Anyway, it's working. I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on it and play around with it. But there's a little bolt on the side that adjusts the spring tension on that pushes the little on-off relay inside there, or the little switch. So that there's a little Allen key that you can tighten, and anyway, it seems like it's made a difference playing around with that setting. So we'll see how it goes. Back in here working on the pump. The pump decided not to work as soon as I got everything back in this compartment a few nights ago. So we've been just using the jerry cans to fill up water bottles and such. But of course that's getting annoying. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this pump. I've tried adjusting the 2 adjuster screws, which was probably a bad idea because I wasn't paying full attention to all the adjustments, how far I was going either side. Because I was just fiddling with it, trying to get the pump to turn back on again, which again was a bad idea, but I'm sure I can get it adjusted again. So excuse the morettes, this was just to reconnect it temporarily because I had a feeling there was another issue. But if Alex turns on the water, it will likely either turn on or not turn on intermittently. Oh, there it is, just turned on. But the faucet was turned on sooner. It seems like the wire's a little loose. So we're gonna fiddle with it some more. Is it on? Okay, so I also have adjustment to make because it's turning on even though the taps aren't on. It seems like that wire is definitely, there's something going on there. Yeah. And actually just from touching it, it feels like it's getting hot. I'm also still trying to get the adjustment right, but it's hard to get the adjustment right of on and off when I have a bad connection, I think, into the little switch that's controlling this adjustment. All right, go ahead. All right, that should be back to where it was. All right, still not working. There we go. So yeah, there's definitely something going on there. And the random on-off cycles, I think, have to do with this switch. So let's take a look at it. The hose plug unscrewed. Just gonna take the whole pump off. It's gonna make my life easier. Once you get these undone, watch out, there's a spring in there. So this little button gets pushed, and when it's all held together, it's supposed to push a relay or a little switch in here. And that switch, I think, is heating up. Little spring inside, don't want to lose that. It's a little cap that goes with it. And since it's all falling apart anyway, let's just take it apart. This is the button from the underside. There's a little pin in there that comes out. That's the adjustment screw to give you more pressure on that spring. And it seems like it's this little switch here. What's this bottom one here? It's heating up on me. Normally closed. So the power is normally flowing through there. Switches, I guess that's the off position. It looks fine. I think it's just the switch itself. And it works sometimes and not other times when I check it with the ohm meter. So if you watch this little thing, when I blow, it lifts it up. So that's blowing on the outtake. So that means that when the outtake pressure is higher, that shuts off that switch, pushes on the button, which would push on the little switch itself right here. Push on this button, which would turn off the pump. What happens if I just jiggle this wire here? We've got resistance jumping around. See, I would expect it to be 0, but as it gets moved, it changes quite a bit. So if I hold it just right, I get 0. And I wouldn't expect there to be much resistance between a switch, or you wouldn't expect there to be unless there was a problem. It's a little fumbly to get back together, so I needed both hands. I'm removing this switch entirely, and we're just gonna have to add another switch for now until I can get a new one for inside. Remove the switch, or cut the switch out and bypassed it with just this little breaker that's more accessible. Not in a great place, so I'll have to actually mount it somewhere. But when I flick it on, the pump turns on and we have pressure again. We're gonna use this as our main shut off until we get another switch. So this is a normally closed switch, which means the power should be flowing to it until this is pressed. Then when the pressure gets up, it pushes this and opens the switch, which means there's not a connection between the switch anymore. These are the replacement switches, so let's see if they work. So I gotta take out these 3 screws, and there's this little switch that I gotta switch out here. Yeah, there we go. Normally closed switch, just like the ones I got. I found out why this is soldered and not one of these connectors, because it won't fit and still be able to have this grommet here. I also have to make an adjustment to that screw because I was fiddling with it. It's pretty good. Maybe a little longer than it needs to be.